Hello, friends. Today I want to talk about something very important. I want to speak to those of you who may be planning to leave Nigeria, or japa, as we say here. Maybe you're considering it because things are tough, opportunities seem few, or because Nigeria is in crisis. But first, let me say this. The whole world is in a crisis right now. It's not just Nigeria. So if you're thinking about leaving, I urge you to pause and really consider your decision. I'm not here to advise you to leave or to stay. That's a personal choice. But there's something essential I want you to consider. Ask God for guidance before you decide what to do. I understand how hard things are. None of us in Nigeria is immune to what's happening. It's biting everyone, and it's biting very hard. Most of us are dipping into little savings and small investments we'd kept for rainy days. If you are running a business and are getting even small profits, it is eaten away by inflation. Disposable income is practically non-existent. Honestly, one will need to be earning in dollars or pounds to be able to live comfortably in Nigeria. But the good news is there are several online foreign opportunities that some young people have discovered and are earning dollars from while they remain in Nigeria. Anyway, the point is the struggle is real, and no one is truly exempt from these challenges, except perhaps the political class and those who are earning in foreign currency. My heart especially breaks for the children who go to bed hungry in a nation so rich in natural resources. We must all do our bit to reach out to those in need. The prices of essentials have skyrocketed. Personally, I don't buy imported goods anymore. I've switched to local options. We use fans more than we use air conditioners. And we're all rethinking how we use our resources. We don't send the driver all over town as freely as before. Now, if he's going somewhere, we make sure he completes several errands in that area to save on cost. I'm sharing these things so that you know I'm here in Nigeria too, going through it all firsthand. Now let's talk about choices. Sometimes we look over at the greener grass on the other side and want to go there. But have you ever asked yourself why the grass is greener there? That lush green grass you admire so much didn't happen by itself. Someone is tending to it, putting in the effort, and you may not know what challenges lie hidden there. How many snakes, for instance, may come with that green grass? So before you wish for the other side, consider if you're ready for the effort it takes to maintain it and for the challenges you may not yet see. Every time I fly in or out of Nigeria, I notice something strange, striking. On flights leaving Nigeria, you see Nigerian families moving abroad, hoping for a better future. But on flights returning, the planes are filled with expatriates, Lebanese, Asians, people from the Middle East, coming into Nigeria. They obviously see huge opportunities here that many of us overlook. Nigeria has over 200 million people, an untapped market rich in potential. I know it's not easy to think about starting a business in a difficult time like this, but honestly, it's during times like these that many billionaires are made. Hard times force us to think deeply and creatively. Many successful people emerge from tough situations because hardship compels us to dig deep and find solutions we didn't know we had. Now, I'm not saying that God is asking everyone to stay in Nigeria. For some, He may be guiding you to go abroad. And if He's leading you there, He will bless you in that land, even if there are challenges there. And for those He's asking to stay back in Nigeria, He will bless you here in Nigeria. But we need creativity to survive and thrive wherever we are. There's a story in the Bible about Lot, Abraham's nephew. Lot chose what looked like the lush green land of Sodom and Gomorrah without asking God if it was the right choice. He didn't know that this green pasture was filled with sin and corruption. When angels visited him, the men of the city wanted to harm them, and Lot even offered his own daughters to protect his guests from these people who wanted to have sex with them. It took divine intervention to rescue Lot and his family, and yet he lost his wife in the escape. Later, Lot's daughters committed incest with him and birthed Moab and Edom, two nations that were a thorn in the flesh of the Israelites, God's people. Where do you think his daughters learned all of that from? Yes, you guessed right. It was in Sodom and Gomorrah. This was the consequence of Lot's decision to go where God hadn't asked him to go to. The consequences of this bad decision affected many generations to come. Seemingly a small decision Lot took, but it had huge consequences for generations to come. I'd like to share my story at this point. In 1989, I left Nigeria for the UK to study millinery. After 4 years, God asked me to return to Nigeria. At first, I didn't understand why, especially as many Nigerians were leaving due to the economic downturn. My friends thought I was crazy to come back to Nigeria. I wasn't coming home because I had made a fortune and wanted to set up a big business. I had nothing. Naturally, I wanted to work abroad, make good money, and return later. But God had other plans. He closed every door. And though it felt unfair at the time, I finally obeyed and came back to Nigeria, confused and unsure if I'd made the right decision. But looking back now, I'm deeply grateful to God. Nigeria, this virgin land, gave me opportunities I would never have had in the UK, where the millinery market was already saturated. Only God could have known what was waiting for me in Nigeria. The grass didn't look green in Nigeria when I returned, but God helped me to water and nurture it until it flourished. And even now, I'm still tending to that grass, making sure it grows. So if you're thinking of moving to Canada, the UK, the US, or elsewhere, I urge you to pause and ask God what He wants for you. Even if you have your visa, your tickets, or have sold everything, it's not too late to stop and get direction from God. Losing the beat now is better than stepping into something that isn't part of God's plan and that can have consequences well beyond you. When you hear from God about where you should be, that word will anchor you through tough times. That was my anchor when I returned to Nigeria. Even when things were difficult, and they did get difficult, I reminded God, you asked me to come back, so I know you'll bless me in this land. That's the beauty of trusting God's guidance. We may not see what's coming, but He sees the bigger picture. Also, we have to do this and ask Him, where do you want me to be? Then open His word, the Bible, and let Him speak to you. Sometimes the answers come quickly, other times it takes a while. But waiting draws us closer to God. But I know we don't want to hear that. Wherever you are in your journey, remember that God knows your purpose. Take time today to pray, listen, and let Him guide you. If this message speaks to you, share it with someone who might need to hear it before making a big move. And if there's any topic you would like me to address in future videos, do let us know by dropping your comments in the comment section below. In my next video, I will be highlighting 10 businesses you can start with zero capital. Yes, 10 businesses you can start with no money at all. So look out for that, and remember, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. Pause, pray, seek God's guidance before you leap. He sees the bigger picture. God bless you.